I'm very happy to be here and very happy to have this opportunity to speak, to address you all. Hopefully you're there and hearing me. I'm just talking to an empty screen, so please, I would start by apologizing for any, I don't know, mishappenings that might that this situation, this unusual situation, might bring. But anyway, my name is Anna Kushak, and I am an attorney. I am actually specialized in intellectual property. I am close to 20 years of experience now, and very happy to have the opportunity again to address you all with a topic that is very hot topic right now, and very important, actually a very important part of our lives. This is the online presence, and specifically the way that we are now referring to our, let's say, commercial how to say this, habits. So we are basically looking at the online more than ever, and that's the undisputed fact. This is not very new. However, this last year, and I suppose this unfortunate situation, which kind of changed our lives in all sorts of ways, is responsible for also the online environment to become more and more a part of our lives every day. So we will basically speak today about the influencers' do's and don'ts, basically. So what is an influencer? What do influencers do? And which are the legal requirements, and which is the legal perspective which should be regarded as you are an influencer and carrying out specific activities. So basically what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try to give you to share my screen with you, because we also have a written presentation. Okay, so I suppose that now everybody is seeing our my screen. So okay, a little technical difficulties. As I said, please excuse the mishappenings. Okay, so we are talking about what influencers should or shouldn't do from a legal perspective in a very interesting and absolutely a non-regulated environment, legal environment, of course. And so this is okay. This is me, and this is the actual first slide of content here. So I'm not going to enter into very much detail about the actual job of being an influencer and what does that mean. I suppose everybody is quite familiar with the concept, and everybody follows, or why not? I'm sure many of you are followed by a lot of people, and this is basically the image capital that is the basis of the influencer activity. So we are all used to seeing influencers in very close to perfect colors, very close to perfect angles, very close to perfect images. So this is something that is always a plus. It's common knowledge at this time that the more followers that you have, the more people you are addressing as an influencer makes you basically a commodity, so to speak. So a very, very important tool for brands in their marketing and promotion activities. Also, it's very sorry. Okay, so what we are going to go through now is from the influencer perspective, I mean legal perspective, we see basically the influencing business and the influencing activities as being like, I don't know, a bridge with two pillars. And one of the pillar is the influencer and the other pillar is the brand. So basically what connects the two pillars and what basically makes the bridge here are is the audience that the influencers addresses. However, it's very, very important that each pillar is very well structured and is very well and very in line with legal requirements what we are going to do in the next I don't know 45 minutes is to look at the structure of the influencer pillar from a legal standpoint, of course. So the first thing and most important thing that we are going to say is that at least in our country, so at least in Romania, there are no specific legal regulations addressing or targeting influencers. So we don't have like an influencer law or I don't know, even guidelines at this time. However, it's equally important to underline that what we do have are a number of principles referring to the mainly to the advertising industry, which are, of course, construed in the in several enactments. We have the advertising law, we have the law for deceitful publicity, we have the law for comparative publicity, and so on and so forth. So we do have a lot of regulations applicable, which are basically the basis for enforcing certain healthy principles for the advertising industry. It could be a very interesting discussion here in which is actually the difference between between advertising and influencing, which, at least in my opinion and from a legal standpoint, are two quite different things. However, we will not concentrate on these aspects because I'm sure that that the interest for such technical matters and such technical details, it might not be very wide, and try to concentrate on the practical, more day-to-day side of the facts. So. In lack of any specific legal requirements, we consider, as lawyers, we consider that the basic principles of the industry of basically saying something about the product, which would lead eventually to the selling of the respective product, I mean, the scope being the same, the principles should equally apply. So we will talk about the principles governing the advertising industry as applicable to the principles which should guide the activity of being an influencer. Our presentation here actually goes into, not in detail, but actually mentions the most important principles, which you can see here on the screen. So, and also what I would like very much to underline is that the legal perspectives from which this influencing activity should be regarded are not only the one strictly relating to advertising. We have here a lot of other perspective. We have competition perspective. We have unfair competition perspective, which are all the perspectives that I'm numbering here, that I'm talking about. They are highly regulated by laws or regulations which are binding and mandatory to be followed. So we have competition law, we have the unfair competition law, we have consumer protection perspective, we have, why not, the fiscal perspective, which is also very, very important. So there are a lot of, and basically, yes, we do have the criminal perspective, which is also quite important, as I suppose most of us already know from very recent cases here in Romania. So the legal perspectives are various, and they all should be regarded as very important to the influencer's activity. What we should also say in terms of more general overview of the legal environment of the influencing activity, governing the influencers activity, will be to mention the Romanian Advertising Council, or the RAC, which is the self-regulatory body in the advertising industry, and which has issued I should say that in Romania, RAC has very, very long and very long-lasting and very important role in the industry and in the advertising business. And the Code for Practice and Commercial Communication, which RAC has issued, so basically the RAC code is basically what you would regard as the best practice or guidelines for advertising in social media. So it would be the best way, I think, to get in touch or to get acquainted with all the principles which should be governing the activity of being an influencer, even though there is, I mean, the guidelines, the RAC code is not something that is legally mandatory to be followed. So basically what I'm saying is that it cannot legally be enforced like you would see a law or a specific regulation. However, the principles that are stated there are supported by legal enactments which can and should be followed to the letter. So it's basically founded, as you will, by the on the very specific legal provisions. So the RAC code also gives a definition, their definition of what an influencer actually is, and I think that it's a very very good starting point. I should also say that such self-regulatory bodies in this industry are present, and this is not a new thing. We are talking about 20, maybe 30 years back. They exist in basically every, at least European country. Also, we can mention here the European Advertising Standards Alliance, or the EASA, which is basically an organization comprising the self-regulatory bodies of most European countries, and also a number of, I don't know, 13 or 15 of the most important players in the industry. We are talking about certain agencies or certain producers, and what it serves, I mean, the purpose that this European organization serves is that it very well facilitates the possibility for each member of each interested party of the member states to basically directly address claims or even other type of communication with every self-regulatory body in the countries members of the European Union. So we also mentioned here in our presentation that there are certain countries, European countries at least, because we basically kind of focused our assessment and the information that we are giving here today at European level, because for instance, the United States have a very different environment for this type of work, and it's highly regulated, and rules are quite clear, and why not say this, very strict in this area. But talking about that would not have given the appropriate overview on what this being an influencer actually means from a legal perspective, from a legal responsibility perspective here in Romania, which I believe that is the what we are interested in. So talking about the space of the European Union, we can look at Italy, which, for example, we have mentioned here that there are certain guidelines or rules that they have issued, and that self-regulatory body has issued, and that have a binding character. So the digital chart is now an enactment which actually has a very specific effect on the legal market. Even though in Spain, which is another very a very big country and a very susceptible to in the influencing business, there are a lot of people there practicing this activity. They don't have, also they like in Romania, they do not have a legal regulated environment. However, there are a lot of decisions of certain organizations or institutions, like I don't know, competition focused institutions or advertising institutions or whatever, a lot of related institutions related or organizations related to the industry, which are basically issuing decisions and publications, and are very transparent in their form of I don't know how they actually see things and how things should be done. So it would, I mean, it definitely makes things a lot more clear, and legal practice is a lot more unitary from this perspective. We given these examples because we have found that these are countries which kind of in which the advertising and influencing market kind of resembles the Romanian market. I don't know, maybe it's the Latin I don't know, the Latin aspect that we all share. However, it's it makes sense to look at this legal environments to kind of see what would be also desirable also for Romania. We are also quite happy to say that very recently, also Romania kind of aligns with this. It's certainly an environment in which the legal requirements are going to be more and more present, and the legal aspects are going to be more and more enforceable. And I'm very sure that regulating this market is very, very, I mean, it's right around the corner. We should expect any day developments on this, I mean, in this area. What we can say now is that just a couple of weeks ago, Romania has adopted a new law on the criminalization on cyber violence on social networks. Yes, it is. I mean, it's the trigger of this law being so quickly drafted and adopted is not a very popular one. So cases, I mean, but basically this is how legal regulations are being born and are being drafted and enforced. So we have to see, like, we learn from our mistakes in going on about in a certain industry. So let's just, I mean, at least from our perspective, we fully support this type of initiative and consider it a very positive news, and also a very important thing that absolutely needed regulation. Coming back to the more related aspects to the activity of actually being an influencer, what we would like to do is to very, I mean, briefly and succinctly sum up the most important principles and the most important things to be taken into consideration when acting as an influencer. So we are talking about basically two very different and very equally important aspects. One is the due diligence aspect. So for non-legal persons, due diligence might not be a term that everybody is familiarized with, but it basically means when you are looking at doing something, at making an investment, at I don't know, basically taking on any kind of legal responsibility, it's very important to know what you are getting yourself into. So as everybody is aware, being an influencer is strictly and very closely related to the credibility of the person which actually does the influencing activity. So carries out influencing activities. So it's a question of it's a very delicate capital that you are working with here, and it's maybe it's not easily gained, but I'm sure that it's very easy to be prejudiced. So it's very important that the influencer looks very closely to what the actual proposition or collaboration or I don't know, whatever relationship that they have with the brand is something that they fully, or at least to the extent possible, they fully know what it's about. So this due diligence phase uh, of the process, what does it actually mean? So, okay, you are approached by a certain brand, and you like, maybe, I don't know, you don't know a lot about the brand, or maybe you know the brand and you like the brand, or whatever. So you agree and you are interested in doing the what influencers does. So basically promoting the respective product or the respective service, and basically the respective brand. So other than the general information and information that is provided to you by the counterparty, it's very important to check the way actually the brand is presenting itself, to at least try to ensure that you have actually tried, or I don't know, in some way come in direct contact with the product that you are endorsing, or that you are giving. Basically, endorsing is maybe not such a bad choice of words, even though it's generally being used the other way around. But you are relating your name, you are relating your whole work, and you are relating your whole public personality to this product. So it's quite justifiable to be very, very careful in choosing the brand that you agree to collaborate with. So and not just it's not just a question of, I mean, legal responsibility towards as I said at the beginning of the presentation, towards, I don't know, consumer protection, or I don't know, data privacy maybe, or whatever issues that might arise is one thing. But also legal responsibility should, I don't know, should be regarded as at a wider scale. So also the principles that you guide yourselves in by the lifestyle that you are promoting, and and that you believe in. And it's very, very important to kind of look at all these aspects before committing to actually collaborate with a certain brand. There are a lot of ways to do that. Maybe we don't have the time here to, I don't know, to list all the tools that are available. But I'm sure that everyone fully understands the principle of such. And we have listed here in our presentations, which we will of course circulate with all of you. And it's certainly a starting point to this. So okay, what are the don'ts to being an influencer at this stage? So we have listed here the let's say the very common sense related ones. So under no circumstances do not become a fraudulent influencer. So basically, don't be a part of a fraud as long as you even suspect that a fraud might be happening. That the fraud might be a case of fraud here. Try to avoid as much as possible any content which is susceptible of I don't know, certain problems or certain interpretations, or this is also something that is quite common, that a lot of the influencers are very young, and a lot of the public they communicate to is also very young. So even though I suspect very well informed, however, also the dynamic of the whole phenomenon is a very rapid one. So it's very hard to keep the pace. So it's very important that I don't know, inspired decisions are made by the influencers. So when there is a problem, check it. When you feel that there's something might be wrong with, check it. Don't go and I don't know. Don't go under the umbrella that, oh, okay, I didn't know that things were presented to me in a different manner and so on and so forth. A little more conscious. I mean, it's the advice. I mean, from the legal perspective, would be a little more conscious about the legal responsibility that you have towards your followers, towards your the people that you are communicating to, and why not, very importantly, towards yourself. Don't be in a position that could identify you with certain aspects which are not you don't feel comfortable with. The fake followers here is also a very very interesting and very I don't know how to say this, a very tricky thing to address. There are two main categories of or two main again two perspectives from which this problem can be regarded. Influencers who are knowingly and consciously just wanting to increase the number of followers, and there are certain, of course, technical manners to do that. And the other ones, which are basically more of my concern than the first ones. The first ones know that they are making a mistake, so that's kind of the end of it. But there are also other influencers which are being victims to I don't know, maybe a very devoted fan. Let us all remember how John Lennon passed away. So he's a very dedicated fan and wants to help his preferred influencer, and increases his pool of followers with fake followers. Maybe considering that they are doing a good thing. Maybe there are others which are on the opposite side. I don't like this guy, and maybe I can harm him, and I'm going to increase his pool of followers with fake followers, and then kind of point the finger and let us see if I don't know, X indeed has all the numbers of followers that he or she, of course, reports to have. Of course, social media platforms are dealing with this problem in I mean, from a technical perspective as well as they can. I mean, there are a lot of ways for this kind of things to be kept under control. But anyway, if you see, I mean, what can you do basically, and very practically, what can you do? But what can you do is that what you can do is that to look a little bit closer, to have a little bit to be a little more careful with your account and your protections. And also, if you even suspect that, I don't know, maybe the number of followers that you have has increased in a manner which might raise a question mark, check it, or have someone check it for you if you don't have this possibility. This is also a very important aspect from a legal perspective, and from of course an eventual legal liability which could be triggered as such. We are now, I mean, I suppose that it's a very, very known case, that of the Blush PL Cosmetics, which is has recently drawn very much attention on the online market, and we have all seen the damage that not complying with this minimal due diligence phase could do to influencers, which you are. So okay, you have agreed to collaborate with a brand which proves not to be the I don't know, not to have the parameters that you initially thought that it had. So bad things happen. Okay, so people are being harmed, and okay, that's basically the legal liability first of the actual brand. And when we are talking about the influencers, there is also a lot of potential there for prejudice. There are in the Plush Bio cosmetics case, I think that the most interesting thing that I would like to underline here is that there were many influencers involved, and some of them, when they found out that the product was actually harming people, although there has been always a rumor, there has been this group saying that anyway, people are being prejudiced by this product. So what can you do? You find yourself in this situation that there were some influencers who realized what the situation actually is and kind of stepped aside, maybe not saying in a very open manner, I was wrong, and it seems that, I don't know, the product is not actually what we thought that it should be. But the most common action is that you step aside and you basically don't endorse it anymore. But there are others which may be driven by the desire of not going against themselves. So I have been saying up until yesterday, buy this product is awesome, and you actually know now that it's harming people and that the effects are not what you have hoped for, and they don't stop. They go onward and say, okay, I cannot come in direct contradiction with myself. What is very important to underline here is that legal liability actually changes shape from the moment that you actually have knowledge, documented knowledge, that you are going onward to promoting a product which has been proven, or at least you could have had access to certain proof that this product is not good for people. Then we are talking about a different type of legal liability which applies here, and the consequences could be very, very, very nasty, going from the, I don't know, certain fines to criminal liability. Okay, going forward. The other aspect when we started this part of the discussion, we said that, okay, there are two main aspects that you should consider as an influencer when contemplating going into a certain collaboration with a certain brand. So you have your due diligence phase and also the specific agreement phase. The specific agreement is a more, let's say, is a more comfortable area, or maybe it's just comfortable for us because we are lawyers. But anyway, it's a more comfortable area because it's regulated. You know what you put in an agreement. An agreement is generally in writing, and this is and at least the basic conditions are there. So the parties kind of know what they are relating to. So the most usual form of such agreements are the copyright assignment agreements, which basically give the brand rights over the content created by the influencer, and that's kind of it. And copyright law in Romania provides for the exact parameters in which a copyright assignment agreement should be concluded, and things are much simpler here. Of course, we don't have the time to go through there. There could be a lot of things to say here. from the perspective of the content that you are actually assigning the copyrights to your collaborator, to the brand. And maybe, I don't know, you have used certain photographs, maybe, which are not your own creation. Maybe you have used, I don't know, a lot of other elements, maybe parts of musical works, or anyway, it's very, very important. And I will just say, because I would very much like to have the time to answer the questions that are being forwarded to us in real time. And I'm very happy that at least we have some, even though I'm not seeing anyone, we have some followers. Okay, what is very important is please make sure that you actually own everything that you are assigning within the copyright assignment agreement. We have seen a lot of cases in which the parties were very comfortable, each one from his perspective, that they have done everything that needed to be done. I mean, they have concluded the agreement, and they have the signature, and they agreed upon the terms of the agreement. This is by far not enough. This is it's very important to focus on the actual content of the copyright that's being transferred from the influencer to the brand. Okay, so going a little forward again. I would like to. I mean, we have listed here the a very again a very known case of the obligation of clearly and transparently advertise to the audience, and that this type of action is actually received by the audience as it is. So a service of a promoting service. Okay, so it's not, if I'm going to go and, I don't know, recommend to a friend that I have, I don't know, whatever, seen or tasted something that was very, very good, or I liked it very much, and if I'm going to recommend it to a friend, it's my reputation, so to speak, at stake. But I'm not risking very much from a legal standpoint. However, if I am an influencer, if I choose to go into to enter into a certain collaboration, and I'm going to promote a certain brand or a certain product, it's essential that the people that I'm communicating this to are aware of the fact that this is what it is, a promotion. And it should be marked as such. So a hashtag ad or a hashtag sponsored or whatever. It's a very, very, very important. I mean, I think it's the most important part of the influencing activity. Please say what you're doing. Please come forward, be transparent, say that this is, it does not, or it should not in any way diminish the your conviction of the fact that this is a good product and that you believe in the quality of the product and so on and so forth. Okay, so, but it's important. I know that there is a certain reluctance there. People will say that I'm only saying this because I'm being paid to say this. It's not important from a legal perspective. It's, you can just, I mean, it's a question of protecting yourself. So you can protect yourself by marking your posts or your photographs or whatever means of promotion are at hand for you. It's very important that you mark them as they are. I mean, being an ad, a sponsored ad. So yes, it's not shameful. Legal responsibility. We are basically what we have said so far, it's all related to one thing: legal responsibility. And how much am I mean, how exposed am I? And as an influencer, of course. And the answer is a very fast answer, and a very superficial one will be: you are very much exposed, because you are part of a moving process. So you are part of a process, basically. And yes, you you have a responsibility, a legal responsibility towards towards the whole how to say this, towards the whole um, package, towards the whole mechanism. So you are also liable, legally liable, towards the brand with whom you have a certain relationship with, and you are also legally responsible for what you actually communicate to the public. As long as, I mean, as general principles, as we have more than once said in this short overview, you are you can protect yourself by following the rules, by being transparent, by looking at the principles from made public from trustworthy sources. Talk to lawyers, read, get informed. It's not even though it does not have a form in which we are maybe more than a few of us, we are not very familiarized with yet. But this is basically the environment that we are that is we are in it. I mean, the new age, the online age, the age of new tools, and so it's is upon us. We are living these times, and everything should be I don't know, kind of mirrored in basically what I'm poorly saying now is that if you are an influencer, and if you promote a certain product, even if you will not follow all the legal steps, I mean, you don't have an agreement with the brand, you don't have the representation that you actually talk to a lot of people. You say, okay, so it's my business, I'm doing what I believe in, and so what if somebody gives me money to do that? No, everything changes. Everything is there is actually an agreement, even if you don't sign one. There is actually a legal responsibility, even if you are not I don't know, very aware of it, and so on and so forth. Okay, I'm just going to go through the last slides. Here you have a very succinct description of in order to avoid disagreements with the partnerships, getting fined, eventual fiscal liability. This is actually very important, that we have not touched this problem. If you do receive money for providing a certain service, and you don't have an agreement, and you don't fiscalize your income, you are exposed to being accused of fiscal evasion, or any other fiscal liability that could be drawn against you. So very important thing from this perspective also. So being accused of several, I don't know, crimes like incitement to hatred or violence or discrimination, which you can all guess what I'm referring to here. So, and the prohibition relating to social media use, the so-called cancel culture, which we again, I think that everybody is familiar with the fact that you have in the past, I don't know, said something or did something that nowadays would be regarded as maybe unacceptable or frowned upon or whatever. But at the time, it was maybe a little more acceptable, or I don't know. And there are people who are actually looking into and kind of finding these types of things and giving them giving light over them in this. I mean, at a time in which they could become an issue, even though at the moment of their birth, of their issuance, they were not an issue. So what you must do as an influencer: so clearly establish the duration of the partnerships, define the payment condition, define the property of the created content, as I said before. Do not forget about non-compete clauses if they exist. There are a lot of other legal aspects that could come into debate here. Avoid problematic content, so at your choice, and avoid any ecological damage. When looking at numbers, fines are roughly between euro 3,000 euro. Remember, sorry, RON, 3,000 and 30,000. It appears that we have surpassed our time. We have a question, at least one, which we would very much like to answer. And until I'm getting confirmation that we can actually answer to this question, I'm going to say what the question was. So how could we preview situations like the one recently disclosed by a certain newspaper, in which a certain newscast, we have 2 minutes to answer this. So certain news anchors were related to commercial brands, and this was not communicated. So is it necessary to have an institution which would handle such cases, or are we talking about the market, I don't know, self regulation, so to speak? And okay, so what we can say is that referring to this is strictly referring to what I said earlier about the marking your posts as what they are. So you are dealing with an ad, market as such. This is something that is quite common, and it's quite. I mean, it happens